it's Don the Auction Professor. Today I thought I would talk about eBay titles. What works, what doesn't work, and a good way to increase sales, or at the very least push more people to view your listings. Especially in the collectibles and the vintage item antiques categories. For clothing, this might not work so much. Same with books and media. For clothing, books, and media, most of the time you want to list the most information you can in your titles. Everything you can, especially clothing, the size, the style, the type of material, whether it's new, whether it's got the tags. Everything you can list, you want to list in a title for clothing or books and media. But for collectibles, by listing every aspect of it, you might be limiting the amount of people that are going to even look at your listing. For us, we've ran 100 listings with great detail in the collectibles categories. So for example, postcards. Listed every little detail you can think of in the title. And then we've listed another 100 that only had the basics, like maybe the state even only. Or maybe it's just a real picture postcard, or a real photo, or something along the line, vintage circa 1910, 1920s as the title. The ones that have the least amount of information in some categories in the collectibles sell for much more money than I would the ones that list every little details. They also have more views, almost religiously, 40-50% more views than the ones that have specific details. And the reason for that is people that collect things don't always know what they really want until they see it. It's almost an impulse buy. And by limiting the amount of information that you put in the title, you're leaving it open for the person to think, well, what is that? Is it something maybe that these people are missing, that they don't know that it's worth a ton of money, or it's a real good collectible? And they'll look at those, and you'll get more views on those items almost all the time. We found this out. We've tested it more than once with more than 100 listings at a time. And for the most part, right across the board in most collectible fields, they sell for more with a little less information. It gives people the wonder, what is it? Let me look. They'll look at the listing, and the views go up on it. I mean, the watch, the counts, everything seems to go up on it. And again, that's what it is. I think a lot of people are looking for the deal. They're looking for the seller who doesn't know what he has, he's selling something really cheap that's worth a lot of money. They're looking for the real good item for their collection. Whatever the case may be, the ones with a little less information always seems to sell better for us. And again, we've tested this out. We've got 34,000 listings and the ability to pull off a couple hundred at any time without even worrying about it hurting our sales. So we run them that way, and I've run tests even for 30 days. We'll drop it down from good till sold to a 30-day listing, and then see what happens at the end of the 30 days. We can compare, and you can literally punch those numbers in on a sheet of paper, and track and do projections on that to see which one actually gets you the best, most return on your investment. What's going to give you the most return on your investment? How much money are you going to make for the title scheme that you use? And again, it does work. It's a big difference, and I mean big difference for some of us in some of the areas that we sell. In vintage magazines, it helps on. Like not listing a specific month, for example, in a title for, like, say, National Geographic 1942. Don't list the specific month. There may be something else in there that draws somebody to that. There may be content, war content, but don't be specific. People are going to want to see that. People that collect military always look for military and always look for war-related material, regardless. But if you limit it or put it in, you might even leave out the title, Awesome War Content, Vintage Magazine, 1943, October issue, and just leave it at that. And then they're going to want to know what it is. And in your photo, most of the photos here, a lot of people don't do it. They'll do like a distant shot. We zoom in on everything. I'll show you in another video on how to fix or address some of the issues that may be slumping your sales by improving your image without even taking a new photo. So, but we'll go over that in another video. But again, there's a lot of things you can do to tweak the title, lower the amount of information. In the collectibles, again, you don't do that in the clothing. You want as much information, and that could be an issue in why you're not selling clothing. You don't have enough. You don't have the type of material. You don't have the style. You don't have whether it's vintage, what era, what mod or fab, or any of those things might not be there to attract the people. So again, it works both ways. So you could have too little in one category of information and be able to sell it properly. But in clothing, again, you can't have too little. You need as much as you can have in there for every little detail in the clothing. But in the vintage categories, I started limiting the information, and my sales have increased. I do sell items for more than what other people sell them for, and I think that is part of the reason that we're able to do things like that. Limited the amount of information to draw more people to question what that item is, or think they're going to get a deal, or whatever the case may be. Trick of the trade, whatever you want to call it. It's a secret or whatever. It works. Other people do it too. I'm sure I'm not the only one who does this. Again, just like when you raise the price on something that's been slumped for, like say I've had something for $20 for 2-3 months and it hasn't sold. I may raise it to $34.50 the next month, and then it might sell at $34.50. I may put $57.50 on that same $20 item and then take an offer of $35. That's just the way things work on eBay. It's perceived value versus actual value. Those two mean two different things. One person might perceive it's worth a ton of money, $50, and another person says the actual value of that item is only $20. I'm not going to buy it. It just depends on the person, but you can steer some of it towards your direction by limiting information to draw more people in to look at that. And when they look at it, maybe it wasn't what they were actually looking for, but again, since these people are collectors of postcards or collectors of images or collectors of magazines, or collectors of any specific collectible item you're selling, they may still be interested in that item, but they would not have looked had they not, had the intrigue to see what you're selling. You don't have enough information. They had to investigate. They wanted to know what that item was. So it works that way, and that's why it works that way, in my opinion. Somebody may say I'm totally off. They may have tried it, but I personally have seen the results. 40 or 50% in some cases, and I'm not exaggerating these figures in any way, shape, or form. It's a given for us, and it's something that we do. You can see some of my titles. You've seen what I've sold. Some items that, just never go for that sell very well for us. Some of that is our model. Our model is to limit information. Our model is to zoom in when we're doing photos for the main key photo in our listing. But again, that's just what we found. It's from experience. It's from 4+ years of doing nothing but eBay and this. This is all we do. We do eBay, Amazon, and online selling. I do artwork, of course, but that all is related to my sideline, my side time. For us, we work 55 hours a week minimum, and that's just a given. Sometimes 65 or 70. But it's not work compared to where you're working for somebody and you can't stop, you can't, relax, you can't watch a TV show for 30 minutes and then come back and do another hour or two. You can't just go cook yourself something to dinner or go take your kids somewhere and do something you want to do, or go watch a game and then change your schedule around and then work through till, say, 2 in the morning because, hey, you don't have to be anywhere in the morning. That's how our life is. We don't mind putting in these hours anymore. And it's all our money now. It's every dime I earn, every dime I can figure out how to increase my profits to get a bigger dime out of that. It helps me along the line. That's all part of the model. It's testing stuff. It's trying it out, doing some test runs to see how it works, and then rolling it out if it works. And for us, it works. And again, you have to be selective. You have to use certain categories to do this in, but it does work. So hopefully that gives you some ideas. Hopefully that'll be something you can look and practice on and maybe increase your own sales by doing. Again, if you got a lot of auctions up, run 10-15 one way and 10-15 another way, no matter what the way is. Check it out. You'll never know until you try it. So again, Don the Auction Professor, hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like button down below and subscribe. Tell a friend.